Welcome to God Winging It with Roger Michael Klang. That's me. Okay, so Trump now, after attacking Venezuela and uh, kidnapping the Venezuelan president Nicolas Maduro, he now turns to verbal attack against Colombia's president, calls him a sick man. And that may be a little bit partly about drugs, actually, not the Venezuelan attack. That was about oil. But this may be partly about drugs, illicit drugs coming to the United States from Colombia, which is the largest narcotic state in the world, I think, right now, anyway. And but it's also about the Panama Canal. Colombia is on the west side of Middle America. What you call it? Middle America. You know what I mean? The Middle America, the narrow part of Americas. Uh, that's it's not in Panama. Panama is another state to the north of Colombia, but Colombia only produce about well, not much oil to speak about. 2 million barrels a day. 2 million barrels is nothing. United States consume 21 million barrels per day, and also Venezuela. They produce a couple of million barrels a day, perhaps 1% of the world market of oil, and it's not much for America today. But they need to see to that Venezuela invests in the oil industry in Venezuela to make America get the oil from Venezuela in the future. But 1 million barrels or 2 million barrels of oil a day per day or whatever it is still a lot for America. It's 10% perhaps of the consumption. So it's not small potatoes, but uh, this thing with Colombia, uh, I think we will see in the future a base. I mean, San Francisco is thousands of miles from the Panama Canal, and Colombia is next door neighbors to Panama and the Panama Canal. But it's I think a little bit difficult to see what Trump's plans are for Colombia right now, but it's much about drugs. I believe that it is. But yeah, he calls Colombia's president a sick man. Whatever he is, I don't know. But also remember now what's happening in Iran. Iran has got protests going on, riots going on, or not riots, but protests going on in Iran. And they are urging or requesting from the United States to intervene, to bomb Iran, I guess. That would be the practical solution. And that may come before they can focus on Greenland. But it's not for sure. They may wait, but there's a window opening for the United States in Iran right now, and that may be their next focus actually, because of cause of nature, cause of effect. Iran is an open window now, and Venezuela is run by the United States. Trump claims. I don't think it is. But he says that there won't be any elections for a while yet. There, well, I guess he's right, but the elections will effect only effect will be that they benefit America's oil consumption, their imports of oil from Venezuela. And if they don't comply in Venezuela, they may bomb Venezuela some more. Actually, he has signaled Donald Trump has signaled that bombings can come to happen. More bombings can may appear, or more bombings may happen. And well, he's Marco Rubio has hinted that Cuba may be the next target. Why would they target Cuba? Isn't just a smoke screen or whatever? I don't know, but I can't see why they would target Cuba right now. Not now. But I don't know the plans of Donald Trump, and Marco Rubio is not Donald Trump, but they've got their enemies. But the United States said that American oil companies will take over Venezuela's oil industry and production. And up to the nationalization in 1976, American oil companies owned the oil in Venezuela. And Trump describes it like the socialists stole the oil from the United States. But all they did was nationalize it. They take control of their own oil. They have the full right to do that. They're in the full right to do that. But anyway, it is what it is. But it will take many years before the investment in the oil industry in Venezuela will show results. So that because Venezuela has got about 300 billion barrels of oil reserves, and that's just as much as Saudi Arabia has got oil reserves. It's the two oil richest countries in the world, Venezuela and Saudi Arabia. So that's a big thing. But it will take years, probably a decade, to build up the oil so that Venezuela can produce more than 1 or 2 million barrels a day. That's a lot, but it's not so much that it can cover the United States needs. But what if Trump can he be convicted for the attack in Venezuela? Does it violate international rights, international law? Well, I think it does, and that means if I had power in Sweden, I would say that Trump will be arrested if he ever sets his foot on Swedish soil. He would be arrested and trialed, convicted, probably because he's guilty, obviously. And Spain actually condemned the United States intervention in Venezuela. They were one of the strongest supporter of the South American country. Not they didn't support Venezuela, but they condemned the United States intervention, the strongest in Europe, I think. And I stand by Spain. I think they did the right thing, and well, I hope more countries will go in the footstep of Pedro Sanchez, the European Spanish leader, by condemning United States intervention in Venezuela. And then there's Greenland. Um, as I said, Iran may come first because there's an open window in Iran, but otherwise it's Greenland. Uh, well, I said what I mean. It's about oil and rare earth metals that they think is on Greenland, but it's also about Trump is he's bombastic. He wants to enlarge his penis, American soil, American land, to enlarge it and stretch it, and like many leaders in the world do, third world leaders most often, like Trump. He is not. He wants to see a bigger America. That's for sure. And also that the rare earth metals and oil that may be there. But it's not about the security of America or the world because of Chinese ships and Russian ships being everywhere, as Trump says, in the waters around Greenland. Whatever he means with everywhere, they're probably using the routes that's normal for shipping in the Greenlands in the oceans. So that's nonsense, of course. And Starmer, he said that he supports Denmark, but he also said that he needs more facts about the American attack on Venezuela. What more facts? What the fuck is he talking about? Keir Starmer is a goon, Donald Trump's goon. Unfortunately, I think so. Not because of his choice of action, but he's not strong enough. He can't stand up to the United States. And the Danish Folketinget government was is gathering tonight for a crisis meeting about the country's relationship to the United States. Excuse me. Um, and we'll see what happens there. I will come back to you about that, I think, whenever it is actually. Well, I think this is the longest episode ever. This is the sixth episode, I think, and it's the longest ever. 13 minutes, a little bit more, but it was necessary because much is happening right now. And Roger and out.